Richard Dawes suggests that the interns compete in a pumpkin carving contest. The group immediately appeases Richard when he explains that this winter sport will improve their dexterity, despite the fact that they would much prefer watch a viral video of an unnamed intern losing it. And up until the cadavers arrive, everything is amusing. Yes, Nick has obtained new bodies, and 4 of our 5 interns rush to the lab to train with Owen and Winston in trauma care. When Yasuda, Kwan, Adams, and Millen come across a corpse with a knife protruding from its ribcage, they come to an abrupt stop. As interns approach the body in an effort to save the life of a deceased man, doctors yell statistics and information in their direction. While all is going on, Teddy and Griffith accompany Maggie outside to the ambulance bay. 2 high school friends made the decision to partake in some LSD before jumping off a roof into the pool. One fell into the ocean. The opposite didn't. While Teddy attends to the other patient, who is still tripping so hard that he leaves his bed, jumps onto an ambulance, and tries to fly once more, Maggie and Griffith take their guy to surgery. He lands on Joe, who is assisting her extremely pregnant patient because there isn't any water anywhere in the Gray Sloan Memorial parking lot. Fortunately, Link is there to clean up the snarl. Emotions start to flare up as both fathers show up in the hospital. When it appears that punches will be thrown, Bailey steps in and begs the fathers not to point the finger at each other's kid for the LSD. We are all simply trying to keep our children alive in this cruel world. Get on board, people, it takes a village. The force be with you, too. The interns, who have given the cadaver Chris's name, are struggling mightily back in the lab. Winston and Owen munch sweet corn and gummy worms while rolling their eyes. They finally pronounce Chris dead and demand that the class consider what they might have done better. Following a brief briefing, Owen reveals a second victim that has a knife lodged in the same location as cadaver Chris. When Yasuda forcefully questioned, "Is someone just wandering around Seattle just stabbing hot boys?" I must admit that I had the same thought. Similar, girl. Same. No, is the response. This man was stabbed by Owen, which makes Millen lose his composure. She seems to be offering her evil family's bodies to science, and Owen just plans to stab them. Yes, but with utmost respect. To learn from, they required the exact scenario. Together, the crew saves this already dead man. Who will be given the opportunity to assist Winston during his surgery the next day by Winston? Everyone argues that they should win, but Adams finally wins because of his humility. He then goes a step further and requests that they all scrub in. Although that seems excessive, Winston complies. We should all head to the Maggie won't be there, though. Winston is prepared to emerge from Maggie's confines. He takes his friend's advice and stops this sense of anger before it worsens after talking to Owen, who is worn out by Teddy. Fair enough, Teddy is offering Link similar counsel. Teddy advises staying friends despite the fact that she is aware that he likes Joe despite the sprained wrist. Avoid blending your life together because it becomes messy. Schmidt, who is overworked, is messy. Richard tries to pacify him with the abandoned intern's pumpkin carving station, but he is unyielding. He has a job to go to. He must not fail his patients. They are immortal. On his watch, no. Richard stops into Helm's pub to get her opinion on how Schmidt is feeling. Schmidt is drowning, Helm knows it. She is also aware that nobody has been pounding on her door to return. She wasn't given a unique job at the hospital by anyone. Additionally, she will leave the bar tonight with $800 in her pocket. Not bad at all. Richard returns to Schmidt as soon as he hears Helm. He expresses regret for failing the class and makes a commitment not to repeat it. No more cutesy pumpkin carving stations or days spent only discussing sex. Everyone will contribute what they can. Everyone but Griffith, who is completely oblivious to the continuous dings of incoming texts while in the operating room. Maggie almost loses it, but she has the grace to speak with Griffith alone because she realizes that something important must be happening in her life. Maggie is accurate. Griffith featured in the intern meltdown video on her previous residency. She tells Maggie that despite being a model resident, her white coworkers frequently failed to notice her. She was viewed as aggressive when she stood up for herself. She regrettably broke one day and vented on the on-call room. Griffith has been working on getting the footage down since the morning. It ultimately ties the interns together. Griffith is told by Maggie that she is where she should be. Here, she will always be seen and heard. Griffith tells the interns the truth, and they all concur that Griffith shown restraint. The sink would have been torn out of the wall. Everybody has bad days. In contrast to most children her age, Zola appears to be checking that box more often. She had to phone her mother to come pick her up after she has a panic attack at the slumber party, ruining her date with Nick. When Zola inquires about when things will improve, Meredith reassures her that all they need to do is locate the ideal school for her. They might need to look elsewhere, she hints. If the invitation doesn't say Hogwarts, I hope Zola isn't sent away to a boarding school for brilliant kids. Is it not possible to stage a Doogie Howser scenario in the hospital? It would operate. She would be managing the trauma center on a daily basis, rolling in a kris and donning a surgical headgear decorated in ferry boats.